What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Beyond Your Upline. So, how do you get people to purchase what you are selling when everyone else is selling the same thing? How do you get yourself to stand out and to get people to choose you over your competitors? Well, we're going to talk about that in this next episode. So, let's get to it. How do you build a successful business in network marketing when everyone you know thinks it's a scam? How do you achieve that dream lifestyle when 99% of distributors quit within their first year, broke and worse off than when they started? If you ask the so-called experts or talk to your family and friends, they will tell you that it's impossible, that it can't be done. But it is being done, and it's happening each and every day by a select group of people that you probably never even heard of. My name is James Cuilty. Join me as I seek to find out how these elite few beat the odds and succeed in network marketing. Welcome to Beyond Your Upline. So, how do you get people to look at what you have and to purchase from you when everyone else is saying when everyone else is selling the same thing, right? And this is really uh, really important, especially if you are an affiliate or you are in network marketing. Why? Because you're all selling the same stuff. So how do you get people to purchase from you? I remember in my last company that we were in, um, when we first started, I think they only had about maybe 20 or 30. Yeah, it was about 20 or 30 thousand distributors, give or take. And in the course of the 7 years that we had been building that business, they actually got to 100,000 distributors. I mean, it was massive growth, which means that everybody and anybody heard about our products and also the company that they were with, right? And so when everybody knows who you are, or you have a huge selection, I should say, what it comes down to is a who has the cheapest product, right? I mean, as a consumer, I mean, really, if I have like 5 stores are selling the same thing, and I'm looking for toothpaste or something, what am I? What are my what's my criteria for picking a product, right? And when they're all the same, everything being equal, well, you're going to choose by price, right? Whichever place has the cheapest price. Well, that doesn't always work when you're selling somebody else's product. You don't have the option to lower the price. You have to sell it for whatever they tell you that, hey, this is the retail price. Now, if you purchase it wholesale, right? Well, then you have a little bit. Now you can cut into your profit margin, depending on how much that is. But that's not really savvy business, right? Because when you're cutting into your profits, that means that you have to sell much more in order just to make the same amount that you were doing before you cut your profit margin, right? Does that make sense? Right? So I share this with you because I learned this concept from Russell Brunson, when he talks about the way that you differentiate yourself is by creating a special offer around the product that you're selling that is unique to you, which means that the only way that somebody can get this special offer is if they purchase through you, right? And I wanted to share something with you. So last week I had one of my clients ask me, can you put together the list of all those scriptures, and like a little bit of devotional? I have it written all over the place, but I wanted something that I could reference to keep me on track with everything that you're teaching me. And so what I do is I look at the scriptures, and I pull out the ones and the principles that allow us to actually get healthy, right? And that'll allow that excuse me, that allows us to actually get to the body that we want to be at, but we do it based upon tried and true principles, right? And so I use a lot of that, and I'm always going through the scriptures themselves. And so I was like, okay, yeah, yeah, I can do that. And then I sat down and I was like, wow, I didn't realize that I had written down like a whole lot of stuff and going back through my notebook and stuff, and I was like, wow, it's all over the place. And so really, all I was going to do was just to list out a few of them, right? Group them together, list them out, and then send it to her. But then, I was like, well, there needs to be some context, to this. You just can't read this because it wouldn't make any sense. And so I started kind of expanding on it, and then eventually it turned into like a little like devotional book. Right. And I was able to kind of, start talking through my philosophy in what I believe in and why I believe that. And, what, I have been able to glean from the scriptures and be able to apply that, right? And so I share that with you. Again, I'm not trying to pat myself on the shoulders, but what I'm trying to show you is that now I have this little devotional book, right, that I wrote, that I put together. And so now anybody that I bring on as a customer, or anybody that I want to bring on as a customer who wants to be coached by me, or wants to purchase any of the products that I have, guess what? Somebody that is interested in the scriptures, that is interested in God, that is interested in spirituality. I have this, that I could couple this together with what I'm selling, and they can only get this if they purchase my product. See, so now I have differentiated myself from all of my competition. I've made myself unique in a sea of sameness. Does that make sense? Are you getting this? And because my target market is not everybody, my specific target market that I am looking to help is 55 or 50 plus Christian conservatives. That's who I'm looking for. That's who I want to serve. That is my customer base. Now, obviously, Christian conservatives, they're going to be interested in a devotion, right? And specifically, if they want to get healthy, if they're out of shape, they want to know, well, what does God say about that? And so now this is something that would attract them, and I could couple that into, if I'm, selling, vitamins, or, whatever, product I have, coaching, and so on and so forth, that would make me unique. So when you are looking at your product, what is something that you can create? What is something that you can put together that is unique for you, that obviously goes along with whoever your customer is, that you can add in to whatever product that you're selling? So let's say, for instance, you're selling essential oils. All right. Okay. Well, you can put together a specific recipe book for essential oils that help with headaches, that help with eczema, that help with flus, right? To minimize, the symptoms if you get the flu, right? Those are really, valuable. You could couple that together, do a little bit of research, put that together. And so now you have this book of remedies. And so now when you're going out into the marketplace, and you're saying, hey, do you, do you always, get those snifflies, every time, the Christmas comes around and your kids are coming home from school and they're always bringing out all those germs? One of the ways that I have found to actually help with that is by using this little concoction, right? And whatever, right? This little recipe. And I also have these other recipes that I've used with my family that has allowed them to actually help with their eczema, to help with their headaches, to help with their insomnia when they don't want to go to sleep, right? And I've put together this little recipe in this book of remedies that I will give to you for free when you purchase my essential oils pack, right? Does that make any sense? Now, do you see how that is much more attractive than if you're just going out there and you're like saying, hey, I have these essential oils, it's really changed my life. It's really awesome. And it, helps, to, cure all this, stuff, or I won't say cure. You can't say that. That is, that'll get you in hot water. Don't say cure. But that helps to alleviate some of these symptoms. And you only have those essential oils, right? Now, if you're coming to me and that was your pitch, I would say, okay, all right. And then I would start researching, say, who else out there is selling essential oils? And if I could find somebody that is selling it free, or excuse me, free, is selling it cheaper, I'm going to go with them, because everything else is the same. They're selling the same essential oils. I'm going to get the same exact thing. Why am I going to pay more for you or to you when I can get it cheaper over here? And you might say, well, that's not fair. But I'm here to tell you, that's business. That is business. And so the object of the game is to make it more attractive to your customer, right? And so for me, putting together that little remedy, because a lot of people, they don't know what to do with essential oils. How much do you put in there? When do you take them? Do you put in 1 drop, 5 drops, 10 drops? They don't know, right? But if you have this recipe book of remedies, that is going to be much more valuable to me, because I'm going to know exactly how much and what essential oils to use for this specific ailment. And so you could be charging actually more than the all the other distributors. And I'm going to actually, if I really want that, I'm going to go ahead and pay for that. And why? Because it is more of a value to me. You've created something that is outside just the product. And if you look at top marketers and top entrepreneurs, that is exactly what they do. They create an offer around the product that they are selling. One of the things that comes to mind was when I was a kid, and I think I shared this on a few podcast episodes previously, but when I was a kid, I was in the grocery store, and one of my favorite cereals was Apple Jacks, right? And we were going to the grocery store. I remember I was with my mom, and we're going down the aisle, and I remember there was a commercial on for Captain Crunch, and they were giving away these free plastic submersible submarines, right? And it made bubbles and it went under, and it was really super cool. And you got them for free if you purchased, or on specially marked boxes, you purchased, Captain Crunch, right? I wasn't a really big fan of Captain Crunch, to be honest with you. I mean, they tasted great, but I didn't like those sharp edges. And it always, every time I had them, they'd always cut up the roof of my mouth. And I always had those hangy, dangly, skin from the roof of my mouth. And I hated that. But what was enticing to me was I wanted that submarine. And so the next time that we went to the grocery store, I asked my mom, instead of getting Apple Jacks, if we can get Captain Crunch. She's like, sure. And I was all super excited. Now, was there any difference between Captain Crunch and Apple Jacks other than the flavor? No. Was it the same amount of cereal? Yes. Did it do the same thing? Yeah, it got me all hopped up on sugar. Absolutely. But what was the difference? Apple Jacks didn't have anything, and Captain Crunch did. They had a little bit of a surprise, that plastic submarine. That was the offer that they were doing, and that was what attracted me. And they both, those cereal boxes were both the same. Now, obviously, I wasn't making the purchase, but even if that box of cereal was more, I still would have wanted to get that. If I again, if I was growing up and that was interesting me, if that was an interest to me, I would have gotten that. I would have paid more for that than I would for the Apple Jacks. Why? Because it had something that I wanted. It had a special offer that they were only offering. Does that make any sense? So the way that you can stand out, the way that you can get people to buy from you then when everyone else is selling the same thing, is to create something that is unique, that you can bundle together with that product that people will get, that you will give them for free if they purchase your product, right? And that's the pitch. Just like I put together that devotions, if I wanted to couple that with something, I could do that to my audience. It's something that is attracted to them. That's something that is very attractive to them, right? Does that make sense? Do you get that? So now when you sit down and before you go out and start, trying to pitch people or getting that product out to the marketplace, think for a minute, what can I add to this that would add value to my target customer, that would be interesting to them, that would elevate the value of what I have to offer, that would make me unique in order for them to purchase from me instead of everybody else that is selling the same thing. That is how you get ahead in business. That is how you stand out. That is how not only can you outsell your upline, but pretty much everybody else in the company, including the owners, because I've seen it done before, and that is exactly how they did it. Was that they had put together a unique offer with some really special gifts that they gave away for free if people would purchase from them, right? So I hope you got some value out of this. Again, take some of these concepts that I'm sharing with you, utilize it, kind of chew on it a little bit, meditate on it, think about how I can apply this, right? And then just go ahead and start putting it out there. But like I shared in the last episode, if you keep doing what everyone else is doing in your company, you're going to get the same exact results. And if you want something different, if you want to go ahead and build a profitable business, you have to start thinking not like everybody else, not that group think, but you have to start thinking outside of the box. You have to start thinking like a entrepreneur and business owner, which is about not only coming up with solutions to use in your business, but also coming up with solutions to solve the problems that your customer has. When you do that, that's what makes you unique. That's what's going to make you profitable, and that's what's going to have people keep coming back and purchase from you over and over and over again. All right. So that's all that I have from you. I hope that you got some value from this. Thank you so much for listening to me. And again, as always, I'm going to see you in the next episode. Bye-bye. Hey, thanks for listening. If you want to hear more of how the top income earners are actually building their network marketing business beyond their family and friends, please subscribe so you don't miss any of the secret hacks that I uncover.